everybody. Have you ever tried to do a deal in the oil and gas space and you didn't know where to go? I happen to be talking to the two experts because I'm pretty excited about NAPE. Just as a little bit of a back note, I closed some nice size deals at NAPE with a handshake. You don't know who you're going to run into. And I think a couple thousand pads of installation is not a bad deal when you just kind of walk up. You never know who you're going to meet at NAPE. With that, Sandstone, and you have the Crude Truth and RT, and you have David Blackman, and we also have some other really big special guests coming to our booth. We have 4 booths at NAPE, but I'd like to take a second and introduce our next 2 guests. I have 2 fantastic guests. We have Le'Ann Callihan, and I can't believe you're here, Leanne. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're okay. We do what?
I appreciate all your support and participation in NAPE over the years, and excited to be here.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is exciting. And I'll tell you what, we have Drew Guntert, and I hope I said that right, because I am a little bit Oklahoma and Texan. So Drew, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. And thank you for taking 4 booths at NAPE this year.
I'll tell you, it's exciting when, guys, I never realized that when I graduated with Moses from college, that I would be a podcast host and having a barrel of fun. So, Drew, let's start with you a little bit about NAPE. What are some great things that you like about NAPE? I've already confessed my fun things about NAPE, and that's where deals happen. You guys got that from me on that slogan.
I really like everything about NAPE, and it seems like after COVID, we all have these work from home schedules. We're all doing these different jobs, and we're doing them differently. So it's nice now, more than ever, to give the industry time to get together as a whole. If I had to rank my number one thing that I like about NAPE is that I love the trade show. I love walking through and seeing, thousands of 10 by 10s and hundreds of companies and their booths and stuff, and seeing the deals and seeing just a wide variety of companies, the products, the services, everything. And I love seeing the prospects. I love seeing the prospects get submitted to us every single year. And, it's amazing how it's changed where, now the offering is that we get Bitcoin prospects. We got a geothermal prospect the other day, and then we see the traditional oil and gas prospects come in. And now, we're seeing minerals prospect listing service that we're offering new for this year. So seeing those prospects come in is probably my number one thing. And then seeing the boosts that correspond with them on the trade show floor.
Boy, Drew, you just hit it out of the park, because we've got a new sponsor. We've got 2 new sponsors, and Michael Tanner and I on our podcast are also doing deal evaluations. So we are actually going to be doing deal evaluations before. And then that way, when we get the word out about this, people are going to be able to come up to Michael Tanner, who is a freak. And we're going to be using some well database and combo curve to evaluate deals. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go. I want you to submit all those deals to NAPE so we can show them to the industry, so everybody has a fair chance of purchasing those properties.
Oh, see, now look at that. You heard it here second, Leanne. Leanne, what are some of the great things that you as being around, you have got to have seen some really cool things in this show?
Oh, absolutely. So, my favorite thing about NAPE are the connections. I mean, you can see anyone on that show floor, and you're going to be introduced to decision makers. It's not your typical trade show. You're going to have CEOs, CFOs, decision makers, leaders in companies there at NAPE. They participate in our energy business conference, and then they are there on the show floor looking around, and it is just amazing who you'll run into. And as Drew said, another really cool thing is the variety of booths. And NAPE was, the concept of the NAPE came about to help all industry players from, mom and pop stores to the big super majors. I mean, you have it all at NAPE. And sometimes the best deals are tucked away in that geologist booth back in the corner. And so it's really just been amazing to see those connections made and those types of deals made that truly changes a company's trajectory and changes people's lives. It creates jobs, it stimulates the economy, it makes companies, it can make a company,
absolutely.
So that's super exciting. And then what I've really loved seeing over the past 31 years is the evolution of NAPE. We started out in 1993 in a hotel ballroom at the Galleria, serving sandwiches.
I'm going to interrupt for 1 second, and I hope I don't get rude, because I've set the bar as extremely low, that this is going to either be your worst podcast ever or your most entertaining. You haven't been going to the 31. Have you made all 31?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Holy smokes, Batman. For our podcast listeners, you have got to see the YouTube, because that is not believable. Drew and I, yes, we could have made all 30. Yeah, but I'm sorry, Leanne.
No, it's not possible for me, because I would have been 8 years old.
Well, thank you for that. But yes, I started my career with APL, American Association of, at that time, Petroleum Landmen. Now it's Professional Landmen. As an intern, I was attending Texas Christian University, TCU, go Frogs. And I accepted an internship with AAPL. And then after that internship ended, they hired me full-time when I graduated in 1990. So we began NAPE in 1993. I was at the first NAPE, and like I said, it's what's been so exciting is to see that evolution to grow from, 80 booths and 800 people to, more than 12,000 people pre-COVID. And even this year, I think we'll hit close to 10,000 people this year.
I think the pent-up demand, and I'm sorry, Leanne, for cutting you off. I the pent-up demand because of COVID, I'm sorry, I think it's going to be huge. And one of the reporters, I got a press pass one time, and I had such a blast visiting with the other press folks writing stories that folks like Sergio from the Houston Chronicle, and he's now with Bloomberg. It's been fun being able to get with them. One shout out to Sean Strawbridge, who used to be down at the port of Corpus Christi. His folks set me up, and for years, because of NAPE, I was able to have him on my podcasts, and I just had him on again talking about world LNG markets. NAPE is where deals happen, but also the global markets. Where Texas goes and where NAPE goes, the global markets happen. So,
but a good way to put that in and kind of the global markets and kind of segueing into that is that also too, a lot of people take advantage of the business conference, the energy business conference, the day before NAPE. Where we address, we start off and we kind of give the industry overview. McKinsey is giving the industry overview this year, but last year we started also technical tracks. So for your more technical disciplines, your geologists, your geoscientists, your engineers, we started producing a technical track, because what we found out is number one profession that comes to NAPE is land and legal, always. Right. But the number two is
Can engineers. I interject?
Absolutely.
Investors. I've run into you can't swing. Never mind. I had a joke, but this is a family show, so I'll just leave that alone. But anyway, sorry, Drew. Investors flock there.
investors is huge. I mean, they're number 3, but you'd be surprised on number 2 is engineers right now. A
Wow.
ton of engineers are coming to NAPE. So we're starting to develop some technical tracks. We're looking at some AI program, a lot of carbon capture, a lot of different material in the business conference. So traditionally, when it was just a business track, which we're still doing,
Right.
now we're also partnering it with a technical track. So our more technical brethren in the industry can feel more welcome and get more out of NAPE as well.
Well,
And
that,
that's sort of part of that evolution that I was talking about, how we just started out with an expo only oil and gas. Now we've expanded. We added capital markets back in the day. Then we added the international sector. Now we've added the renewable energy hub. Then we added the Bitcoin mining hub.
I'm
Now,
excited about that. Keep going, keep going. I'm just going, yay.
then
Sorry.
we're adding the minerals and non-op hub. We expanded our energy business conference to, as Drew said, to include 2 tracks. We have a energy case competition for universities, which is phenomenal. If anybody gets a chance, it's on Wednesday. It's open to the public to see these university students do a presentation, and then they are awarded $40,000 in prize money by the APL Education Foundation, and it
Can
goes
I enter?
directly to the students. So the
Can Drew and I
talent is
enter?
incredible.
Not you. We just need student IDs.
Oh, well,
So,
man, Drew and I are out then. So, but
so
Not for us.
NAPE is not just an expo anymore. It's a year-round resource with our magazine. It's again, it's the platform to make connections for your
yeah.
business year.
Yeah, what's fun is every year you guys have to get a straitjacket for me because I have so much fun running around there. And it's the dinners, it's the after parties. That is not only critical, but I mean, it is fun. I've been able to meet with a lot of CEOs, and guys, I want to give you guys a shout out. Your staff running this thing and doing it has been always phenomenal. And I've been there as an exhibitor, I've been there as a press person, I've been there, in several different modes through the years. And I've always walked up to somebody and I've gotten stuff that's not normal in all trade shows. I just want to give you guys a shout out for that.
Oh man, we deeply appreciate that. NAPE staff, which we are also NAPE staff, me and Leanne, they do a great job, and they really do look at it as an industry service. And I think our staff take a lot of joy in the work too, because it's really creating something that's special for the industry. And it's also something that's very purposeful. You go to some
Yep.
industry shows and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to get some education. I'm going to look at some vendor booths. I'm going to do this. But with NAPE is that people look at it as a business process. It's, hey, we have to come and we have to walk away with a prospect or have a good idea of what our year is going to look like. And companies that are bringing a prospect to market, they're like, hey, we're going to launch our prospect at NAPE. And this is the start of a bidding round for this property that
Yes.
could be our next 10, 20, maybe even 50 years. So, I mean, it's just a lot of long-term thinkers. And we think about that and we talk about it constantly within our staff of, how important it is to solicit and get these prospects all in one place so they have a launching pad every single year.
The ROI on the booth expenditures and everything else, Leanne, I bet you have seen that when you pay for a booth. I used to just hit my head against paying for a marketing booth, and you have to wonder as you sit there at a show. There are trade shows that I've lost a lot of money paying for booths. At NAPE, that is not true. I'm telling you right now, if you buy a booth or you pay to come into NAPE, Leanne, I bet you've seen some huge ROI on any expenses that people do.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, our our booth costs in comparison are very low. And actually our registration fees, considering our biggest, we have servants' hearts. We serve the industry. We provide a lot of food and beverage. That's the biggest thing on our budget, where a lot of trade shows do not. But but the key is we want our show to be valuable to our clients, and at the same time, we want to also remind our clients that NAPE is brought to you by industry for industry.
Right.
NAPE partners, including AAPL as the managing partner, IPAA, SEG, and AAPG, are all not-for-profit organizations. So
Right.
every bit of profit each year from NAPE goes back to these organizations for education, advocacy, technical information, materials, information services,
Wow.
student initiatives, everything. And so it's really about giving back. I mean, every year after NAPE, we take every bit of profit from NAPE and we write distribution checks back to these not-for-profit organizations. And Drew and I have to start at zero, back at zero every year. So that's how much we value our clients who do support NAPE, because you're not just
Right.
going to NAPE to help your business thrive. You are helping the industry as a whole thrive, because you're giving back to all these organizations for their members, landmen, geologists, everything that IPAA does in Washington. Without NAPE, I mean, NAPE is a big part of contributing to these organizations being able to do what they do to support the industry as a whole. So it's really important. It's important for us to make our clients happy, because we have to have you guys come back every year so we can keep doing what we're doing and the industry can keep thriving.
That is so cool. I'll tell you what's kind of weird is at Sandstone, this is probably, of all the years, this is probably feeding back into what is feeding Sandstone, my company. And that is the podcast is reaching out to so many. And this is an offer for any other CEO or someone wanting to get their name out. We're going to make sure that if you want to talk about what you're going to do at NAPE, what your company is, and why you're going to be there, I want to talk to you before NAPE. And now you're going out on our podcast, Leanne and Drew. I was talking about how far our reach is. I'm surprised at how far our reach is. It's because of my staff and their number one mission in life that we talked about before the show, and what they have to do to survive. And that is, we have so much fun, but it's the reach, Leanne and Drew, that we're so happy with, that we want to help them. Your servant's heart is really, really cool. Drew, I don't know how you do it.
You know what? I have a good example with Leanne. We have a great culture, and I think it derives from the industry. Energy industry is very hospitable. I mean, it's the hospitality and everything that you get from the industry, and the people are so great. I mean, everybody is everybody's intelligent, but they're also kind. That's one thing I noticed when I started in the industry, 10 years ago. It really makes it easy to do these things and, provide this industry service, because that you're doing it for people that would probably do it for you too.
Isn't that great? Leanne, I don't know why it is, but I think Drew is dead on right. And I think that the industry is misunderstood. And if there's anything about the oil and gas space, I was talking about this with some other folks, other CEOs, that the oil and gas E&P operators have stopped their flaring dramatically on their own, without having, the oil and gas producers offshore. Leanne, great job getting all your offshore folks and everything else there, your international folks. It is phenomenal. So, Anyway, sorry about that, but you guys do an absolutely phenomenal job bringing everybody all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, here's an example. If you can find a place in the world, um, for one day that brings together, let's say, Oxy, BPX, Chevron, Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Minerals Department from Peru, the territories of Canada, um, Inveris Software, TGS, and then a handful of prospects from all over the world. I would really like to see it. And I think it really speaks to how unique NAPE is and really the scope of who will be there.
One of the things, Leanne, is that I'm energy agnostic from a standpoint. I'm a humanitarian. We need to use the lowest kilowatt per hour delivered to all of humanity in order to elevate everyone from poverty. And it has to be sustainable energy. And people define sustainable as different, but it's got to be monetarily sustainable without subsidies. So with that, I've been speaking to a lot of African folks and even interviewed the African, he's the Secretary General for the African Petroleum Producers Organization, the African OPEC, if you would. And there, a lot of folks are going to be there from other countries and other key areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we look at it as an energy expansion. So similar to your energy agnostic, being energy agnostic. We don't see it as an energy transition. We see it as an energy expansion, and we just are
That's great.
Our marketplace.
Yep.
To include, we will never, we always will love our roots, which is oil and gas, but we are expanding our marketplace to include other energy sources and
Yep.
making, given a platform for companies to do deals across those sectors as well.
Yep.
And then Stu, it's how you bring up Africa. I mean, we've always had great presence from Africa, from different countries that bring in leasing rounds, so they definitely understand NAPE and its purpose. And it's also too, it comes down where NAPE is at. Houston is such an international city that it just makes it easy to hold NAPE there, just because there's so many consulates and trade organizations from different countries that have a headquarters in Houston. So it's always nice that that have NAPE in Houston, because you have the energy and it's such an international city for trade commissioners. So we love that they utilize NAPE and they understand NAPE as a resource for their countries.
You nailed it, Drew, with this thing. And that is, not only is Houston very, very good for oil and gas, but it's a great financial sector. The financial sector for Houston is phenomenal. And this is kind of an offhand discussion point, but I think as people are leaving New York and California, Houston is getting a lot of financial offices and things. I have talked to a lot of investment houses that are moving there, and I think it's pretty funny.
Well, even during COVID, I noticed coming into NAPE to visit, like big skyscrapers being built, and I'd be like, you know what? I talked to the city representatives and stuff that are kind of our liaisons, and I, say, hey, what's this? And they're like, well, that's an office building. That's an office building. And I was like, no one's going into the office anymore. And they're like, yeah, but people are moving their headquarters here or moving regional offices to Texas. So he's like, they need, he goes, one floor is Amazon, one floor is, is JP Morgan, one floor is Blackstone. He's like, they all have to move their office here and start getting, their headquarter based here. They need a mailing address, and everybody's moving to Texas.
And speaking of the city of Houston, we work very closely with the city of Houston for NAPE every year, because NAPE, as I talked about being important to the industry, NAPE is super important to the city of Houston.
Oh,
Each year, our economic impact on the city of Houston for that week of NAPE is over $21 million every year. And
holy smokes.
it's really, you don't think about it, but every year we have a pre-con meeting with all of our Houston vendors, everybody at the George R. Brown that's helping us put NAPE on. And it was really touching after COVID when we came back and we said, we're doing it. And, it was a little bit of a risk, putting on a big show when people were still a little bit afraid of getting out in the public. But the employees of the GRB and all of those vendors were so appreciative of us for hosting our event there. I mean, it provided jobs for all of those people. And it was really, it really touched me when they gave us a toast to coming back to Houston. And, it just made me realize, it goes beyond our industry. And again, so your participation at NAPE, is helping, is helping the city of Houston thrive as well.
Texas.
It's kind of something you don't think about until it's right here in front of you.
I mean, Texas, when I visited with Sean Strawbridge, Texas is the Port of Corpus Christi that his great team in Texas did is now the #3 energy port in the world. Texas do you know how much money Texas had? Oh, we had a surplus, Leanne and Drew. I bet we had a surplus as Texas because of oil and gas.
Yes.
So, I mean, as Texas goes, and just real quick, Texas has half the cost of energy than California or New York. So what does Texas have? We're going to be the biggest solar. We're going to be the biggest wind. We have natural gas. We have Total Energies out of Europe investing in our natural gas new plants. Oh, why does everybody want to be at Texas? I think, Leanne, it's because they called up and said, we want to be where NAPE is.
Yeah. Stu, I think one of the resources you do miss that Texas does have, it has Texans too. And Texans they're pretty good at figuring things out. They're resourceful, they're hardworking, and they're very, very nice people to deal with too.
Isn't that great?
Speaking of Texas, one of the big things that we're having this year, we're super excited, is we are having a governor's forum featuring our Texas governor, Abbott.
Oh, great.
And Oklahoma governor, Kevin Stitt. So they will be on stage for our charity celebration. So we moved our charities luncheon to Wednesday afternoon, and it's the governor's forum. We'll be presenting checks, which is another thing that the industry, Drew hit on about how great people in the energy business are. I mean, we have NAPE and NAPE's clients, basically the energy industry has given more than $6 million to military charities.
Oh, cool.
Through NAPE since I believe it began in 2005. And this year is no different. We have 3 deserving veteran charities. We have American Military Family, America's Mighty Warriors, and TADSAW, which is Train a Dog, Save a Warrior. Those 3 charities will be recognized with donation checks anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 or maybe more. We're right now raising money for that, and so we're really proud of that fact that not only do we serve the industry, but we serve a really a wonderful variety of charities that are focused on our American heroes. And so the governors will be speaking and we'll be honoring those charities. And then we move on into a charity celebration reception Wednesday early evening, because we want to do our reception so then everybody can go to all the other parties as well. And but our reception is going to be featuring country singers. They're very popular, Wade Bowen and Randy Rogers. So
I'll tell you what I'd love to do, and I'm sorry about is set up a thing and visit with you and interview the governor, you guys, and interview folks from a live podcast from there. If we can arrange that, wouldn't that be just a hoot? I think that would be cool.
Man. We'll do our best. We do have to get through 2 layers of governor security. So it's not an easy thing, but hey, we'll definitely can do our best to get you in the room.
If it will help get the word out about your charities, that's where the reach happens. So, where deals happen is your tagline. We're NAPE Energy News Beat, where reach happens. So,
Absolutely. And one thing to know about the governor's pass is that you're eligible to come and see the governors on Wednesday, February 7th.
Okay.
And all registrations for NAPE get you into that. So the NAPE Expo only, it gets you into that. As you traditionally maybe do the icebreaker, this will be before the icebreaker. So come in, pick up your badge early, and then come see the governors. Just need to show up around 3 p.m. To beat the rush and get a seat.
I don't know that Leanne, either governor, wants to get in front of a microphone. I don't know.
Well, and also during that time is our job fair, which that we host on Wednesday. So Wednesday has become a really valuable day. When you're planning your travel, come in on Wednesday. We have like I said, the energy case study competition. We have the energy business conference that has the 2 tracks, as Drew mentioned. We have the job fair. We have the icebreaker. We have the governor's forum and the charities reception. So
do you all sleep?
Got to be there on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
Do you guys sleep that week? I don't know. I don't know what you're going to. So the week after, NAPE, all the employees shut down. You curl up and you're like a bear. You go hibernate for a month, right? And then you get to start over.
We go back to work on Monday morning.
Remember I told you we go back to 0, so then we start with renewals.
Yeah, because NAPE resets. Really, we're resetting NAPE that Thursday, February 8th this year. That's when we open up exhibitor sales and sponsorship renewals it'll be for 2025. So right now is that we're not only working on NAPE 2024, but we've started working on NAPE 2025 about 2 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So we're living in the future.
I'll tell you what, we got about 5 more minutes. Leanne, why don't we kick off your last word here, and then we'll go to Drew. But I would like to say thank you so much for everything that you guys have done as a servant's heart, and what you guys are mean to Texas as far as where, I hate to keep saying it, where deals happen, but where friends make friends. It makes it a huge difference. So thank you, both of you, and all the staff at NAPE. But Leanne, what are your last thoughts?
My last thoughts are just thank you for letting us be here on the show. And we hope to see all your listeners at NAPE. Like I said, come Wednesday, come to the governor's forum, and then come to the expo the next day, and you won't be disappointed. And we just hope to see everyone there and to see your smiling faces.
And Drew, how about you?
You know what? I can't say any better than that. So I'll just do some house cleaning items. What do you have to do? You have to register for NAPE. So napeexpo.com is where you can register. You can get your housing, all those things. And I would suggest, if you've never taken a booth before, reach out to Stu and talk to Stu about how you take a booth and what the benefits are. And also tell him, how cheap it is. If you have a prospect, the booth is really at cost. And you can also register for a booth at napeexpo.com. And you can also contact us and ask us any questions. If you're a first-time exhibitor and you've always wanted to try it, it's easy. And we can help you through it.
And I'll tell people about the ROI at NAPE. And it's not one thing. It's 1,800 pads. It's 2,000 pads. It's a lot of oil and gas. It's a lot of deals. But thank you all very much. And just as a little bit of housekeeping, if you are a CEO and you want to talk about your company before NAPE, I want to talk to you at NAPE. I have Ray Trevino with The Crude Truth. I have David Blackman, and we are in 4 booths together, and we'll be doing live podcasts with speakers. So we're going to be obnoxiously funny and come see people being interviewed at NAPE, and we are going to have a lot of fun. We're also going to want to do a lot of social media blasts out. We want to get the word out for NAPE and everybody else, and it doesn't matter wind, solar, offshore, onshore, international. It's a worldwide impacting show. So with that, Stu Turley, thanks you all very much for stopping by.